In this video, we're going to learn how to use the Gemara Berura platform. You sign up to gemaraberura.com. This is the web address. You should bookmark it because we're going to be using it frequently throughout the year. When you get there, this is your initial page. You will log in here on the left side. You will use your school email and also your password. And once you log in, it will look like this. You will arrive at the workspace. You will then go to my GB, my Gemara Berura. And under my Sugyot, you will find materials that I send you. The one we're using is Mishnah Brachot, unit number 1. And I have shared with you the text of the Mishnah, the portion that we're studying, and also pieces of the Gemara that comments on this Mishnah. What we're going to be doing is 3 things. First of all, we're going to be dividing the text into sentences, into sections. We will then classify each sentence by identifying its function, whether it's a statement, is it a question, is it an explanation. And then finally, we are going to create a visual organizer, a flow chart, by connecting the sentences and showing how they relate to each other. And this will visually represent the shakla v'tarya, or the flow of the process of the conversation of the Gemara. So in the right side, we have a number of tools. You don't have to memorize them. You just hover over each one and it pops up telling you what it is. But just briefly, these are your divide and subdivide buttons. Then we have the undo to cancel the division in case we make a mistake. We then have a button to connect. That is to format the text showing the relationship to the previous statement. And this is, of course, the undo of the connect. And here, these color symbols are going to be the way that we classify each statement. For example, if it's a statement, or it might be a supplement, which basically is an explanation, additional information, and so on. With time, we will become very comfortable with this platform. And so in this video, I'm going to guide you how to do this first unit together. And I would like you to do the same thing in your own text that I've shared with you. So we'll begin as follows. The first thing that we're going to do in this case is, since we know that this is a Mishnah and there's also comments of the Gemara, we are going to find where the Gemara begins, which is right here. This being the portion of the Mishnah that we studied, and from here on is comments of the Gemara. So we're going to divide that. A Mishnah, we're going to classify it as a statement, and therefore we click here to show that this is a statement. Now within the Mishnah, there's going to be subsections. So here we're going to subdivide. So let's begin. So this question really is the complete sentence. It's saying, from when can one start saying Shema at night? And this is going to be the answer to that. Is Misha'a Shakohanim Nichnasim Lechol Betrumatan. Until when the Kohanim come in to eat the Truma. So we are going to begin to subdivide. We're going to subdivide. This is part of the Mishnah, but it is a subdivision because it is a separate sentence. This is where that sentence ends, and so therefore we subdivide. Atzov Ashmura Rishona Divra Rav Eliezer. Till the end of the first guard, the first shift, and this is the opinion of Rav Eliezer, and we subdivide. Chachamim Omrim Ad Chatzot. the Chachamim hold that one can recite Shema until midnight, and we divide here because this is a different speaker. This is Rabban Gamliel, so we subdivide. And finally, Rabban Gamliel Omer ad she'al amud hashachar. Okay, what we have done so far is we have identified that this is all part of the Mishnah. The Mishnah is basically a statement. Within that statement, we have different sections, which we have already divided them. And then, of course, we have the Gemara. We have separated the Mishnah from the Gemara. Okay. Now, let's classify each of these parts of the Mishnah. So, me'ematai korin tashma be'arbin is really a question, which in Gemara Berura lingo, it's called a inquiry. The next one is Mesha'a she'kohanim nichnasim lechol betrumatan. From the time the Kohanim come into either truma, that is a clarification. In Gemara Berura lingo, the clarification is really an answer. So this is the answer to that question. Ad sov hashmura rishona dibur Rav Eliezer, until the end of the first guard. This is the opinion of Rav Eliezer. That is a statement. V'chachamim omrim ad chatzot. Chachamim say until chatzot. That's also a statement. Rabban Gamliel omer ad she'al amud hashachar. Rabban Gamliel says that we can say Shema until dawn. That's also a statement. Now, we have divided the Mishnah from the Gemara. We have subdivided the Mishnah into its sentences. Now, we're going to organize the text of the Mishnah. We're going to format it by showing the relationship between the statements. So, for example, this opening question is answered at this point. Misha'a she'kohanim nichnasim lechol betrumatan is the answer to this question. So we click on this statement. This is our connect button. And now we click on the destination. We want to connect this to that. We're showing that by indenting it, we're showing that this answer applies to this particular question. Okay? These ones here are all related to this question. When can we say Shema at night? So we have three opinions regarding when is the ending time of the Shema. So we're going to connect this statement to the opening question, this one as well to the opening, and this final third opinion, we're going to connect it also to the opening question. Okay? If we double click in the left side, we have what's emerging as a flow chart of our work. If we click here, you will see what we've done. Here is the initial question of the Mishnah. Here is the answer to that question. And then we have three different statements that are all related to this question of the time limit for Shema. Okay. Now let's work on the Gemara. The Gemara begins by saying the following. Tana eicha kai dektani me'ematai. The Gemara is asking, what is the Tana referring to when he says, from when can you say Shema? Meaning, he is assuming that there is an obligation to say Shema, and he's proceeding to give us some of the details of the time limits of this mitzvah. But what is he basing himself on when he asks this question of details regarding the timing? He's assuming that we know somehow that there is an obligation. So this is one question. We are going to divide that. Vetu, because we know furthermore, introduces another question. Vetu, mai shna detani be'arbit bereisha, lidne deshachrit bereisha. The question now is, also, what's the difference? How come he starts with teaching us the Shema of Arvit, of the nighttime, Bereisha, the beginning? Litni, he should teach us the Shacharit Bereisha. He should teach us the Shema of the morning first. Why did he choose the night Shema instead of the morning Shema. Okay, so now the Gemara proceeds to answer these questions. Tana, the author of the Mishnah, Akra Kai, he's referring to the Pasuk, Akra. He's basing himself on the Pasuk in the Torah, which he rightfully assumes that we already know the Pasuk, because if we're studying Mishnah, we're studying Talmud, we should be familiar with the basic text of the Torah. And we know from the Torah that there is a mitzvah to say Shema, Dechtiv, because it is written in the Torah, Beshoch becha uvkumecha. It's written in the Torah when you lay down and when you get up. These are the times to say Shema. V'achiktani, and this is what he's teaching us. Zman kriyat Shema deshchiva eimat. When is the time for saying the Shema of the Shchiva, of when we lay down? When is that time? So, and he answers, Misha shakohanim nichnasim lechol betrumatan. And we stop here because we know Vivai Teima is a key term that is going to introduce a second answer. So now we are going to divide that from the first answer. Okay? But let's go now to the first answer. And we're going to be able to subdivide it further into smaller components. Tana Akrai Kai. The Tana is referring to the Pasuk. He's basing himself on the Pasuk. Dechtiv is also a key term and is being brought to support something, to prove something. So we are going to subdivide that. It's part of the first answer, so we're not dividing, we are subdividing because we want to keep it as part of the first answer. This first answer is made up of different sentences, but they're part of the first answer. Dechtiv Beshoch becha uvkumecha. Ve'achiktani is going to be an explanation, and this is what he's teaching us. So we are going to subdivide that. Ve'achiktani zman kriyat Shema deshchiva eimat. When is the time of laying down? And he answers, the Mishnah answers, Misha shakohanim nichnasim lechol betrumatan. Okay. Now the Gemara brings a second answer. We know that because Vivai Teima is a key term that tells me there's going to be an alternative answer. Vivai Teima Yalif mebriato shelolam. We can also give another answer, says the Gemara, that the Tana learned this from the creation, Bria, of the world. Dechtiv, because it is written in Parshat Bereshit at the very beginning of the creation, Vayehi Erev, Vayehi Boker, Yom Echad. Because when it describes the passage of time, it says it was evening and it was morning, and that completes one day. Now we're going to stop here because Amar Mar is going to be another speaker, another topic. So we're going to divide. And we're going to, now let's go back at the second answer, and so we can subdivide it. Vivai Teima Yalif Mebriato Shelolam. If you want, I can give you another answer, says the Gemara, and we're going to subdivide because the Chtiv is going to introduce a pasuk, katuv, a pasuk from the Torah that is being used as evidence, as support. The Chtiv Vayer Vayivoker Yom Echad. Okay, so now we have our answers. Now, the next discussion is the following. Amar Mar. Mar is a title of respect. It means the master, the rabbi, the scholar said. Whenever he says Mar, it's referring to a scholar that was mentioned before. And that in this case is the Mishnah. The master, the rabbi of the Mishnah said, Misha she'akohanim nichnasim lechol betrumatan. So he's quoting the section of the Mishnah that tells us that the earliest time for saying Shema at night is when Kohanim are able to come in and eat their Truma. Now the Gemara discusses this statement. Michdi, since Kohanim eimat ka'ach Truma, when do Kohanim eat the Truma? Meaning, if they were tameh, they were impure for a period of time, and now they waited till that time when they are now once again pure, when do they regain the status of purity that allows them to eat Truma? Misha'at shetzeta kochavim. That is the time when the stars come out. Because when the stars appear, that marks the beginning of the next day. So if a Kohen is waiting for let's say the 7th day to end, so that now he becomes pure once again, that